For today's class, we're gonna need one or two blocks, and that's about it. And as usual, if you need blanket or something that serve as a cushion for your knees, please go for it. And to start today's class, we'll start in Malasana, yoga squat. With your heels in, toes out, and press your elbows against the thigh bones. And bring the palms together. If this does not work for you, you can slide a block underneath your sit bones. You can sit onto the block so you can focus on opening your thigh bones toward the outside. If one block is not working for you, you can stack two blocks the lowest way and sit on top of it. So you adjust it based on what you need. I'm gonna just use one block since this is early stage of the practice. And start casting your gaze down on the ground. Soften them. And perhaps entirely close eyes. Noticing if the breathing sounds a little bit different from our usual opening postures. And make adjustment as much as you like to bring that kind of similar breathing qualities. Perhaps means adding another block underneath your sit bones. And sometimes it means removing one for you. And if none of those works for you, you can also come lie down onto your back or come into an opening posture that's more familiar to yourself. And once you found the position that allows you to start settling in, take a deep breath in through the mouth, acting like you're surprised. And exhale everything out like you're trying to fog a mirror in front of you. We'll do one more time. Feel the inhale brushing against the back of the throat. And exhale everything out. And close the lips. Take a deep breath in through the nose, but keep the same quality of breathing. Same air brushing against the back of the throat. And exhale through the nose. And stay in this Ujjayi breath practice. And oftentimes when we're calling something practice, our body might tense up because once we name it that way, sometimes it feels like it's something is a requirement, something that we have to do. So just like instead of keeping it as natural as possible. So notice if your shoulders are getting tight. Sometimes could be your jaws, your face, your neck. If one or many of those are happening to you, take a deep breath in. And exhale as long as you can. And last week that we mentioned about that being courageous is not being foolish. So today's practice, we're gonna focus on finding a balance between. Seek for a balance that not just physically challenge us, but also nourish us, but also for our mind practice. Use this a little bit, couple more moments of breathing, quietness. So you have the inner space to think about how can you achieve that balance point. And whenever you're ready, bow your head towards the heart. And slowly blink open the eyes. You can choose to stay on the block. You can also remove to the side if it's too restricting. Continue in Malasana and extend your left arm out to the left side. Use the left arm bone to press the left knee open and extend the right arm up. Continue, press the right knee open as well. Take a deep breath in, sending energy to the opposite direction through the two arms. And exhale, bring the palms in front of the center again. And extend the right arm out, extend the left arm up. Gaze through the left fingertips all the way to the sky. Take a deep breath in. And exhale all the way back to center, palms together. And bring the elbows away from the thigh bones for a moment and tap your left knee towards the ground. It may or may not touch the ground. And frame your right, this is complicated, so listen and watch carefully. Frame your right leg with your hands. Bring your hips down. Bring the right knee to the right side. So you're kind of like in a pigeon against your right leg, but instead of straight left leg, it's going to be a bent left knee. And walk your hands outside of your right knee, twisting to the back. Take a deep breath in, keep elongating the spine toward the sky. And exhale, start walk your hands, frame that right leg again. Use the help of the hands to support yourself back up into a Malasana. We'll do the other side. And tap the right knee toward the ground. And frame your left leg with your hands. Release your sit bones to the ground. Bring your left leg to the ground. And walk your hands outside of your left thigh. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, use the hands to frame the left leg and support yourself up into a Malasana. We'll continue 3 times on each side, slowly with the pace of your breath. No rush. Respect your own pace. And next time when you are to the right side, both legs on the ground, both legs bent. Take a deep breath in, reaching toward the sky through the crown of the head. And exhale, come back to center, but this time keep the legs on the ground. Bring the right foot into the left inner thigh and straighten out your left leg. Hands by the side of the left leg. Take a deep inhale, grow tall. And exhale, start slowly walk the hands toward the front. You don't round your back yet. Imagine that you're shooting the spine out of the pelvis. And start walk that spine toward the left leg. And when you reach to the sticky point, here option to round your back and release your chest toward the left leg. Pull the left toes towards you, engage the front of the left leg. Press the back of the left leg into the ground, waking up those left hamstrings. One more deep breath in. And exhale, start slowly walk yourself back up. And bring the right hand behind you. And push your pelvis towards the sky. Extend left arm by the left ear. Reaching that left arm long. And exhale, release the hips down. Rebend the left leg, left foot to the back to where it was. And use your hands to frame your right leg. And bring yourself into Malasana again. And we'll do the other side. Tap the right knee down. Use the hands to help you to bring the sit bones down. Hands outside of the left thigh bone. And exhale, come back to center. Bring the left foot into the right inner thigh and extend the right leg long. Pull the right toes towards you. Press the back of the right knee towards the ground. Take a deep inhale. And exhale, start slowly walk the hands toward the front. And when you reach that sticky point, you can round your back, melt the chest toward the right leg, Janu Shirshasana. And you find this balancing point when you're walking your hands to the front, that where that is changing enough, but also gives you space. Instead of walking too far, that you're clenching your jaws, you clench your face, and you're forgetting the integrity of the pose. But you're also you're not trapped in a comfort zone for too long. One more deep inhale. Next, just start walk yourself back up and bring the left hand behind you and press the pelvis up, right arm by the right ear. Extend the right arm long. Next, release the hips down, rebend your right leg, frame your left leg, and support yourself back up into Malasana. If your direction change like I did, come into Malasana at the front of the mat and press your hips up. Bend into one leg and another. This helps you to stretch the outer hips and also the hamstrings. If your hands are too far away from the ground,
And if you like to add more support in this hamstring stretch, you can bring the blocks right underneath your hands. And start shimmying your feet to parallel with each other, shoulder distance. Inhale, lengthen spine, Ardha Uttanasana, shooting spine out. Exhale, fold over the legs. Rise all the way up. And hand through heart center. Tadasana. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, step left and right into a high plank. Option to release the knees down, especially if you have sensitive wrist. We will release down towards the ground slowly from here. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, bend the elbows only about 30 degrees. So about 1/3 to how you usually go to Chaturanga. And press it back up. So for a lot of us, it will be way much more helpful if you release your knees down into a knee plank. Take another deep breath in. And exhale, perhaps about 60 degrees this time. Hugging the elbows into the rib cage. And press it back up. Last time. Deep breath in. And exhale, bend through the elbows, perhaps 90 degrees this time. And then release everything down onto the ground. Keep the hands hugging by the chest. Keep hugging the elbows toward each other. Press the top of the feet into the ground. Inhale, lift chest up. Bhujangasana. And exhale, release down. Press through the table or high plank and lift your tailbones up. We all meet in Ardha Mukha Svanasana, downward facing dog. And we've done some hamstring stretch, but if you like to continue more, to make more flexibility in the back of the legs, you can bend through one leg and another. If your wrist taxed too much through those Chaturanga, you can also come down to a triad pose, roll around the wrist. And whenever you're ready to meet in downward facing dog, bend your left leg, stack the left hip over the right, and from there, kick the left leg straight. Inhale, reaching the left leg long. Press into the left hand. And exhale, draw your left knee into the chest. Inhale, kick the left leg long again and stack the left hip all over the right. And exhale, draw the left knee in. One more time. And step the left foot down this time. Release your right knee down. Take your time, spread a blanket underneath your right knee if you have a thin mat and sensitive right knee. And climb your hands on top of the left thigh. You can bring the blocks underneath your shoulders. You can also come into traditional Anjaneyasana low lunge. Keep hugging the thigh bones towards each other. Take a deep inhale through the fingertips. And exhale, keep everything else but draw the elbows toward the rib cage and draw the hands toward the rib cage. So hugging the elbows towards each other behind you, and your hands are right by the side of your lower rib cage. Inhale, arms up. And exhale, draw the elbows in. Imagine you're still doing a Chaturanga on the ground. One more time.
You're not putting all the weight on the hands, but imagine you're still doing that. And bring the hands down. Kickstand your right shin to be parallel with the shoulder edge of the mat. Left hand inside of the left foot. And right hand up. Press into the left hand. Press the left arm bone into the right thigh bone. Support it, side angle. Right all the way up. Support it, warrior two. Option to straighten your left leg. And shift in between side angle and warrior two. The next time when your left leg is straightened, bring a block underneath your right shoulder and right hand down onto the block or onto the ground. Extend your left arm by the left ear into a supported side plank. Option to stay here. Option to find a balance between here and floating your left leg up. Kick the left heel toward the front of the room and reaching toward the back room through the left fingertips. And come back all the way up into a gate pose and cartwheel your hands into the front. And bring your right shin back to neutral. Bring the left hand inside of the left foot. Shimmy your left foot to the outside, a little bit further away. And come up onto the pinky edge of the left foot. And use the left hand, gently push the left knee open. Option to stay here, option to hands up. Bring the left hand, snake it into your right hip, into a half bind. Rotate the rib cage up toward the sky. You can even tuck your back toes and straighten the back leg. Wherever you are, bring both hands down and find the blocks, you have them. Keep your left knee slightly open today for half split. Inhale, pull the chest forward. And exhale, pin your left hip back, straighten your left leg, half split. Inhale, Anjaneyasana. And exhale, Ardha Hanumanasana. Twice more like this. Next time when you're bending the left leg, you can use the help of the blocks. Tuck your back toes and step your right foot outside of the right hand and sit your hips down into Malasana again. Bring the elbows against the thigh bones, palms together. And at the beginning of the class, you can slide a block and use your sit bones if it helps you to find your balance point. Whenever you're ready, extend your left arm out, right arm up. Option to flip your right palm and bring the right hand on top of the back. And also snake it into your left hip into a half bind. Option to wrap that left arm around the left knee into a full bind. Whichever kind of bind you're in, continue to press that right knee open. With the bind, your left knee probably already being open, but make sure it's still paying attention to the right knee. Just let the neck naturally hang. And then exhale, come back to center. We'll switch side. Extend the right arm out, left arm up. Flip the left palm, bring it to the back for half bind. You can also wrap the right arm around right knee for full bind. Continue to press the left knee open. And come back to center. Hands down, press your tailbones up. Fold over the legs. You can stay here and just cross your arm, just getting more hamstring stretch. You can also walk your left hand, bend your left knee, walk your left hand behind you. Bring the left hand to your back, right arm up. Perhaps join your hands behind you and straighten the right leg, twisting to the right side. Keep hugging the right outer hip in. And then exhale, release. We'll do the other side. Deep bend into the right leg. Walk your right hand, your right shoulder almost underneath your right knee. Bring the right hand behind you. Extend the left arm up. Bend your left hand so your hands can meet behind you. And straighten the left leg. Gaze through the ceiling. Take a deep breath in, hugging the left outer hip in. And exhale, release the bind if you have it. Shimmy the feet parallel to each other with hips distance. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Raise all the way up. And hand to heart center. Extend the arms up, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Next, step right and left back into a high plank. And the other side. If you need to put your knees down, put your knees down. And because we've experienced both 30 degrees, 60 degrees, 90 degrees, so you choose the one that works for you as a balancing point. Whichever you chose, see if you can stay one more cycle of breath there. Take a deep breath in, we'll do it together. And exhale, come into the point that gives you space to breathe one more cycle. And we'll all meet on the ground. Hugging the elbows in, inhale, lift the chest up. Perhaps this time, straighten both arms. Press into Urdhva Mukha Svanasana, upward facing dog. And exhale, tuck your toes, push your tailbones up. Downward facing dog. In downward facing dog, bend your right knee, stack your right hip over the left, and kick the right leg straight. Press into the right palm. Next, exhale, draw the right knee into the chest. Inhale, kick the right leg long, stack the right hip over the left. Next, exhale, draw the right knee in. One more time. And this time, step the right foot in between the hands and release your left knee down. Adjust your back knee so you're stretching the front of the left thigh. You can bring the hands on top of the right thigh. You can also be on the top of the blocks. You can also come into traditional Anjaneyasana. Let both sides of the waist to grow. Take a deep inhale. Imagine still doing the chaturanga. Draw the elbows toward the back. Draw the palms by the side of the lower rib cage. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, squeeze both elbows down by the side. One more time. Hugging the elbows towards each other. Next time, bring the hands down. Turn your left shin to be parallel with the shoulder edge of the mat. Right hand is on the right foot. Extend the left arm up, side angle. Option 2, bring your left arm into a half bind or full bind. You chose your balance point. If you find your breathing getting restricted, that's your body a sign of telling you that you're over the balancing point. And rise all the way up into a supported warrior 2. Straighten the right leg. Bend into warrior 2. Pulse in between. The next time when you're in warrior 2 with right leg straight, release your left hand to the back of the mat. Extend the right arm by the right ear. Option to stay in the supported side plank. Can also be any range in between foot on the ground or right foot at the high point of your right hip. Take one more deep breath in. Next, release your right foot down, carry your both hands to the front. Neutralize your left foot and start shimmying your right foot to the right side of the mat. So your right hand inside of the right foot. And use the right hand, gently open the right knee. Option to float up the right arm. Option to bring the half bind into this posture as well. And another option is tuck your back toes and lift your back knee up. Whenever you're ready, bring both hands down. And find the blocks if you have them nearby. We flow in between low lunge with right knee open. And a half split. Inhale, pull the chest forward. And exhale, straighten the right leg. Pull the right toes towards you. Inhale, chest forward. And exhale, pin your right hip back. A couple times on your own. And next time when your right knee bend, tuck your back toes, step your left foot outside of your left hand, sit your hips down into a Malasana. You can stay here. You can also create a half bind or full bind. My last offering in the Malasana is create a bind
underneath your left leg, insert it around your left knee. And play with both sides. And hands down, lift your hips up. Shimmy your toes to be parallel with each other. Inhale, lengthen spine. Now exhale, fold over the legs. Raise all the way up. Hands to heart center. You can stay here. You can also bring the hands by the side. You can shift weight into the balls of the feet, into the heels of the feet. And find the middle point between those two. Support your weight. And see if it's accessible. See if you're closing your eyes can help you to find that balancing point. Sometimes it does, sometimes it doesn't. Closing your eyes can mean that less of influence from outside, but can also mean fear of uncertainty. And from this intentional Tadasana that we've been practicing, we'll move through some rounds of Surya Namaskar A. And if you have other kind of salute practice for yourself, please go for it. Otherwise, we'll flow 2 rounds together. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, fold over the legs. Inhale, lengthen spine. And exhale, step left and right into a high plank or knee plank. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, bend through the elbows, move to Chaturanga. Inhale, pull the chest forward. And exhale, push the tailbones up, downward facing dog. 3 to 5 rounds of breath here. Gaze in between the feet. Let things quiet down, even in this downward facing dog. If it does not work for you, release your knees down, come into triad pose. At the bottom of next exhale, step by step, a half forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Raise all the way up. And hand to heart center. And we'll flow 1 more round together, but this time we're gonna do what we did last week, that we jump towards the back to test our courageousness. And inhale, arms up. And exhale, fold up the legs. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, you can choose to stick to step by step. You can also bring the hands by the side of you and bend into the elbows and pull your chest forward and kick your legs back into a Dandasana. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Pull the chest forward. Exhale, push your tailbones up. Three to 5 rounds of breath here. Or any other balancing points that you have. In the bottom of the next exhale, step by step, a hop forward. Inhale, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold over the legs. Rise all the way up. Hand to heart center. 3 more rounds on your own. You can step by step to the back and also jump back into Chaturanga Dandasana. And your balancing point can be one of those and 2 of the other one.
It's really up to you. The whole point of this free flow time is without too much of influence from me, so you can strive to find your own balancing point. Sometimes it could mean that you simply lie down on your back and close eyes into an early Shavasana. And other times can mean that jump back into Chaturanga Dandasana one time try instead of sitting out every time. In fact, we are all practicing at home. To some of you, it might mean less of influence from others in the same studio with you. But you might be surprised at how much of those influence from the studio that have stayed with you. So let this free-flowing time to be the opportunity for you to work with those influences. If you're still flowing, take your time. We all meet at the front of the mat in Tadasana. If you arrived early, you can always come back to that intentional Tadasana. And once you arrived in Tadasana at the front of the mat, standing strong onto the right leg, hugging the right outer hip in, draw your left knee up. Clasp your hand with the left pinky underneath left knee. You can bring yourself close to the wall if you need. And kick the left leg straight. And we bend the left knee in. And kick that straight. And bend it in. Standing strong on the right leg. One more time. And start slowly lean your chest forward, passing through Warrior 3. And step your left foot back, both arms up, and to a high lunge. Inhale, straighten both legs. You can even come up onto the balls of your right foot. Now exhale, tap your left knee down. Remember, join the elbows, squeeze the hands by the side of your lower rib cage. The back knee might tap the floor. Inhale, straighten both legs. Arms up. Exhale, squeeze the elbows down. One more time. Come back up into a high lunge and turn your left foot to the back of the mat and parallel your right foot to the short edge of the mat. Bend into your left leg. You're in a warrior two to the back of the mat. Reaching your fingertips long towards opposite directions. And exhale, reverse warrior and straighten your left leg. Inhale, reaching to the left leg. And exhale, bend into your left leg again. Left elbow on top of left thigh. Right arm by the right ear. Side angle. You can stay here. You can also bring the left hand onto the ground inside the left foot. You can stay here. You can also bring the right hand, snake it into your left hip into a half bind. Release your right hand down. Walk yourself to the right side, parallel the feet. Perhaps your heels in, toes out, and fold over the legs. Actually, parallel the feet first, and fold over the legs. Push into the pinky edge of both feet. Inhale, lengthen the spine. And exhale, bend into the right leg. Walk yourself to the front of the mat. Runner's lunge. Hands on the ground or on the blocks. You can step by step. You can hop with your right knee to the front. You can hop as many times as you like, as long as your left knee ended at front. So when your left knee arrives to the front, release your back knee down. Shimmy your left foot to the left side. Slightly. Option to stay here, this lizard lunge. Option to bring yourself into a traditional lizard lunge by bringing your elbows down onto the ground. In between, on your hands or on your elbows, you can always find a balance point by bring the blocks underneath your elbows and just rest your elbows onto the blocks. You can also play around by lifting your back knee up. Wherever you are, bring your hands down, lift your back knee up, and step your right foot outside of your right hand. Sit into Malasana again. Hands down, lift your tailbones up, shimmy your feet to parallel with each other, and rise all the way up. Head through heart center. And we'll do the other side. Standing strong on the left foot. Hugging left outer hip bend. Draw your right knee into the chest. Clasp your hands with the right pinky outside underneath your right knee. Take a deep breath in. And exhale, kick the right leg toward the front. Inhale, rebend it in. And exhale, kick the right leg straight. Last time. Bend your right knee in this time. Hands release down onto the blocks or prayer in front of the heart. Start slowly kick the right foot toward the back. Release the right foot down. Both arms up. High lunge. And now straighten both legs. You can come up onto the ball of your left foot. And exhale, squeeze the elbows, squeeze the hands by the side of the lower rib cage. And now straighten both legs. Now exhale, squeeze the elbows down. Last time, high lunge. Now exhale, turn your right foot to the back of the mat. Straighten your left knee. The left foot to be parallel with the pinky edge of the shoulder edge of the mat. And bend into the right leg, warrior two. Chest facing to the right side. Right knee facing toward the back of the room. Take a deep inhale, reaching to both fingertips. And exhale, reverse warrior. Left hand on top of the left thigh. Straighten the right leg. Next, come into warrior two and rest your right elbow onto the right thigh. Left arm by the left ear. Side angle. You can stay here. You can also release your right hand down. And also create a half bind. Snake the left hand onto your back, or you can snake it and grab the top of right thigh with the left hand. Half bind. Take a deep inhale, roll the rib cage toward the sky. Next, release both hands, walk yourself to the left side, parallel the feet, and fold over the legs. And this time, walk your hands through the legs toward the back of you. Your hands may or may not pass the line between the feet. Inhale, lengthen spine. Exhale, walk yourself back to the front of the mat. Bend into left leg, runners lunge. Bring the blocks back. And step by step, one or multiple swaps in between the legs. We'll all end up with our right knee to the front. And shimmy the right foot slightly out. Hands on the blocks or on the ground, or release your elbows onto the blocks or onto the ground. You find your own balancing point. For some people that this working so hard to look perfectly in a lizard lunge that they forget they need space for the mind, for the breathing. Option to lift your back knee up. And when you're ready to come up onto your hands first. Lift your back knee up if you haven't done so. Step your left foot in. Sit into Malasana. Take a couple of long breaths here. Just to reflect that on the balancing point that you've been working towards too. As usual, sitting here in Malasana does not give you the kind of space. You can slide a block and it's just sit down. And what's coming next is totally optional. You can create that full bind or half bind underneath your left knee, and step your right foot into the mid of the mat. Step onto the toes of your left foot and start slowly bring yourself up. You can stay here. You can also practice straighten that left leg, bend it in, straighten the left leg and bend it in, as we were practicing in the first round. So bird of paradise here. And to come down, start slowly release your left foot down onto the ground. I'm gonna switch to the other side. Maybe there's no other side for you, especially if you stayed in Malasana. And follow the legs, lift your tailbones up. We'll quickly move through one more round on each side. Rise all the way up. And hand to heart center. Standing strong on your right leg. Lift your left knee up. Straighten the left leg. Just bend in just one time this round. And kick the left leg toward the back, hand on the blocks or in front of the chest. Warrior 3. Step your left foot down. Both arms up, high lunge. Next, straighten both legs. Pull your elbows, squeeze your hands by the side of your low cage. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, turn your left foot toward the back into Warrior 2. Reverse Warrior, straighten the left leg. And exhale, side angle on the left leg. You can create a full half bind. And if you like to try full bind this time, bring your right hand onto your back first. Then feed your left shoulder underneath your left knee and thread the right arm behind you. And walk your hands together into a full bind. Press into the pinky of the right foot. Rotate your rib cage toward the sky. Release the bind you have it. And walk yourself to the right side. Bend into the right knee. Straighten the left leg. We'll switch in between Skandasana. And walk yourself to the front, bending the right leg, hands on the blocks, just one time this time. Step by step, or hop your left knee toward the front. Release your back knee down. And walk your left foot slightly out. You can come into a low lunge of your choice. And my final offer today is Kondayasana 2. So you can first try to walk your left shoulder underneath your left knee and walk your hands, make them as like a Chaturanga Dandasana, bend them into 90 degrees, walk them back towards your navel. and you can stay here. This is a good practice for Kondhyasana too for the future. And remember that when we talk about balancing point, it's not just an arm balancing, it's not just a physical balancing point, it's a balancing point of our full practice. So only if you feel like your hands are able to take your weight here, bend, tuck your back knee, back toes, and lift your back knee up, and walk your left foot slightly forward, and lean your weight onto the elbows, and kick the left leg straight toward the front, and float your back knee up into a Kondhyasana 2. You can stay in that lizard lunge. If you went for arm balancing, after you come into child pose. Collapse your hands, roll around your wrist, and switch direction. And once you're ready, whatever way you like to take, whatever journey you like to take, we'll all meet at the front of the mat. We'll do the other side. Shift the weight onto the left foot. Draw the right knee up. Kick the right leg straight. Rebend the right knee. And step the right foot back into a warrior 3. And release your right foot down. Both arms up, high lunge. Inhale, straighten both legs. Next, draw the elbows, draw the hands by the ribcage, just like if you did Kondhyasana 2. You bring the elbows back. You bring the hands by the side of the lower ribcage. Inhale, arms up. Next, turn into warrior 2 toward the back. Reverse warrior. And come into a side angle. Right elbow on top of the right thigh. Left arm by the left ear. And release the right hand down. And create a half bind. Option to walk your right shoulder underneath your right knee. Bring the right elbow behind you for a full bind. Rotate the ribcage, the chest toward the sky. If you have the bind, release from it. Walk yourself to the front, bend into left leg, straighten the right knee. And switch in between. Option to bring the hands to the heart. Skandasana without hands. The next time when you bend into left knee again, hands on the ground or onto the blocks, either way, just one hop. Bring the right knee to the front, release your left knee down, and walk your right foot slightly out. You can stay in this lizard lunge as is. You can also come down to the blocks, come down to the elbows. And if you like to, you can just play with your right shoulder underneath your right knee. Bring the right hand outside of right foot just to play with it. And if you like to try Kondhyasana 2 on this side, bring the right shoulder underneath your right knee. Lift your back knee up first. And walk your hands towards the navel, but keep hugging your elbows in as when we were in the lunge or in the Chaturanga Dandasana. Walk your right foot slightly forward. Bend into the elbows and start leaning the weight onto the elbows. And just as we were standing, kick the right leg towards the straight and float your back leg up. Kondhyasana 2. If you went for the path of arm balancing, come into triad pose and roll around the ankles, the wrist. And either way, we'll all come into a seated. Open your legs. You can pop yourself onto a folded blanket. Find the blocks nearby. Flex both feet. Press the back of the knees into the ground. At the beginning, Janu Shirshasana, shooting the crown toward the sky. Instead, walk your hands toward the front. And only to the balancing point that allows you to change yourself, but also gives you space to breathe. Then you can round your back, fold over the legs. And if it's not supportive for you, you can also bring the blocks underneath your forehead and just rest your forehead onto the blocks. Let this be a reflective moment of your practice. If you were overtaxing your body for certain postures, or if you were trapped in your comfort zone, perhaps you were perfectly dancing fine with your balancing point today. One more deep breath in. And exhale, start slowly walk yourself back up. Draw the feet together. Bring the heels close to the pelvis. Hold the feet with your hands. Open the knees toward the ground. Inhale, reaching tall toward the sky. And exhale, fold over the ground and use the elbows to press the knees open. Baddha Konasana. And come all the way up. And find your way to the ground onto your back. Hug your knees into the chest. And bring your hips slightly to the right. And release your knees to the left side. Extend your right arm out. You can also cactus your right arm. Keep the left hand on top of your right knee. And as I was mentioning before, it's more than just balancing and physical postures, but also use all these postures as containers for us to find the balancing point in our life off the mat. Bring yourself back to center. Bring the hips slightly to the left and release the knees to the right side. Extend your left arm out and also cactus your left arm. Keep right hand on top of the knees. How do we find the balancing point in between fulfilling our societal responsibilities, but also nourishing our body and mind? How we find the balancing point between foolishness and courageousness. When you're ready, come back to center. You can hug the knees into the chest one last time. You can also go for some other symmetric posture you like to conclude your practice today. Otherwise, extend the legs, extend the arms. Shavasana. And as usual, if you don't have anywhere to rush to, please feel free to stay where you are. But if you're ready to come out, roll onto the side of your choice and thoughtfully navigate yourself into a comfortable seat. Perhaps eyes are still closed, palms facing down. And just as our asana practice tonight to seek for that balance point. Oftentimes we had to pause somewhere to reflect and reevaluate. So before we all open our eyes and walk into our busy life off the mat, use this quiet moment to seek that balance point, or at least as a reminder for us to make some quiet time in our life to seek for that balance point. Is it a resonate gesture for you? Get the hands in front of the heart. Take a deep breath in. Exhale, let everything out. One more deep breath in. And bow the head toward the heart. When you're ready, slowly blink open the eyes. Thank you so much for practicing with me tonight. I hope you enjoy it, and I'll see you next Thursday.